Historians believe that Moses and his people crossed the Red Sea and made their way into the Sinai desert. According to the ancient texts, God grew angry at the Jews for idol worshiping and forced them to wander the desert aimlessly for 40 years before allowing them to enter Israel. During this time, the Bible says the Israelites survived by eating a single food source, manna. But what is manna? A naturally abundant food provided by God? Or, as some believe, something very different?
In the Bible, it explains how the Israelites got from Egypt, where they'd been slaves, to the Promised Land. They had to cross the Sinai desert. And inevitably, given that there was a lot of Israelites and very little growing as it was a desert, they ran short on supplies. God stepped in at this point and sent manna from heaven. This took the form of some kind of seeds that rained down upon the desert, and then they were collected the next day, and they provided food for the Israelites, except Friday, when there was a double portion, because on Saturday, being the Sabbath, it didn't fall.
While the Hebrew Bible fails to give a clear description of manna, another ancient Jewish text provides an alternative clue.
The text speaks of different-sized brains, different-sized faces. They were connected with different tubes and different light sources. Theologians have suggested that this is the description of God. However, when looked at from a modern perspective, what is described in the Zohar isn't necessarily a God figure, but rather a type of machine.
Intrigued by this information, two electrical engineers, George Sassoon and Rodney Dale, used the anatomical descriptions of the Ancient of Days to design what they called a manna machine.
Literally.
Diese Maschine hatte einen Ansaugstutzen.
The machine took in moist morning air and condensed it in the part of the machine that looked like a plexiglass dome. From there, it mixed with an algae culture. The culture was treated with energy, such as a strong laser light, in order to speed the growth.
Of course, it needed energy for cultivating the alga, and this was produced, we postulate, in a small nuclear reactor, which would produce both heat and light as required.
We have multiple references in the Bible that whoever came close to the Ark of the Covenant and didn't know how to operate it was smitten to death. And sometimes people, after they encountered the Ark, started to lose their nails and started to lose their hair. So we have evidence of some type of radiation poisoning which was in direct correlation with the Ark of the Covenant. And so the Ark of the Covenant housed an extraterrestrial device which was given to the Israelites during their 40-year wandering through the desert.
The manna machine is believed to have supplied a highly nutritious form of green algae, or chlorella, as its food source. It's yet another theory supported by modern science. Research studies done by NASA in the 1960s and 1970s established that human life could be sustained for extended periods of time by consuming chlorella algae and nothing else. If it's possible for astronauts to survive on algae, could the Israelites have done the same? Today, scientists have successfully pioneered a process that produces a substance high in protein by means of solar energy, water vapor, and chlorella algae.
They actually built a machine based on algae culture producing some type of superfood, and we can find a similar type of technology described in the Zohar. Is history repeating itself?